Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome our next speaker, Mr. P. Srikanth, who would take us through artificial intelligence in accounting and auditing environment. Mr. P. I'll give a brief introduction about him. Mr. P. Srikanth is a chartered accountant and a diploma in information systems, qualified from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has also passed CISA exam conducted by Issaca, Florida. He has an extensive experience in manufacturing and banking organizations. He has worked as a CISO, that is Chief Information Security Officer, conducted information security audits, and driven multiple technology-oriented solutions, including reporting to regulator, customer communication, and managing operational risk. He was also responsible for a setup of e-commerce related services for a bank in its nascent stage, as well as set up operational risk management. He has worked in Quality Improvement Group and won CII Award in Quality Improvement Projects. He has also worked in Risk Intelligence Unit of HDFC Bank and is currently Senior Director of Choksi and Choksi to manage all its IS and IT related initiatives. With his strong understanding of process improvement during his days in quality improvement, he has also combined business knowledge with skills in automation. He has kept himself updated with the digital currency and completed certification in digital currency course. He has a rich experience of over 35 years in multiple business functions such as operations, technology, accounting, business, information security, quality improvement, and risk management. Without taking much of my time, I would now hand over to our speaker, Mr. Srikanth, to take us through artificial intelligence in accounting and auditing environment. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, and thanks very much for the wonderful introduction. And thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's an opportunity to share with all of you. I would like this presentation to be interactive as much as possible. So please do stop me if I'm slow or fast, and do ask questions at any point of time. I hope I'm audible. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me start right away with artificial intelligence. I will take you through a bit of detailing in terms of artificial intelligence, not just for accounting and audit, but also for other functions. So let's start again. Start from beginning. Okay, important thing, many of this content which is mentioned in this presentation and whatever I'm going to tell you is based on a lot of learning, not only from my supervisors, colleagues, and teachers, but also what I learned during my work experience. So I'm really grateful for being able to share this. Sorry, the screen is moving a bit slow, so please I apologize for the delay in talking. Okay, now to define artificial intelligence, it's very simple. It's nothing other than what a computer would do, and it would do just like a human being. So we are translating the human activity such as visual perception, recognition, and convert that into automated process. And that's what is artificial intelligence. Intelligence, which is the ability to learn, this is being done by the computer, computer understands in its own way, it thinks in its own way, and is able to translate the requirement that we give to the situation in hand. Examples of AI, which all of you must be aware of, Alexa and Siri. It also does facial recognition, which can be used for access control as well as for understanding who's there. It is going to be used in a big way in driverless car. All of us have used text-based search engines. So these are some of the methods by which the artificial intelligence is getting used. I'll take you through some history. It's very important to understand the history behind this artificial intelligence. The best test is, of course, the Turing test, where what Alan Turing mentioned was if you or me can detect that the entity which is talking to me is not a computer. That means it looks like human. That means the test is successful. That means that artificial intelligence is so good that I can't differentiate differentiate between a human being and a computer. And that's a great artificial intelligence tool. Some important thing in history, there's a tool which was developed called MySim, which can diagnose blood infection. As all of you must be aware, IBM Deep Blue defeated Garry Kasparov in chess 1997. Use of big data started in a big way in 2015 thanks to internet and huge amount of data which got populated. IBM became Jeopardy champion in 2011. It's a game, a TV show game. GPU chips are very important. The graphical processing unit is a very big development in this field. The combination of big data, GPU, and the AI, artificial intelligence together has led to this huge boom in artificial intelligence. And in 2015, AlphaGo is a great game played in Eastern Asia, and AlphaGo could defeat the top Go human professional. So why AI? AI is like, as Professor Andrew mentioned, it's a new electricity. With AI, there are lots of things which we can do. So it is in and every part of the world that one can use it, be it healthcare, be it manufacturing, be it banking, logistics. And in 2020, November, McKinsey did a survey and it states that AI is a great tool for helping in generating revenue. So these are some of the examples of use cases that we can talk about. Financial institutions such as HSBC, they use AI for managing money laundering as well as managing fraud. All of you must have used bots when you deal with banks. So routine queries are handled automatically by bots. You just type something and you get a quick response entirely done by bot. That bot is nothing but a computer-based method by which it is able to respond based on historical data and FAQ. Vodafone and Nielsen also have been using it for getting suitable employees, staff for their work. ICICI Bank has used software robotics in over 200 business processes, and many organizations use AI for promoting to customers. So you say, okay, these are the set of products I want to give it to a certain set of customers. That can be done by AI. I can also say, okay, that this is where you are present and I can give a product to you. Or I can also design a product and give it specifically to based on the kind of customer that you are. To continue with this use cases, the reason I'm talking multiple things about the use cases because that will help in us figuring out where all we can use in our accounting and audit. So that's the reason I'm mentioning. Please stop me in case I'm going slow or fast. You must be aware of the anomaly detection, which is nothing but a fraud detection. So the system goes to the database and finds out which could be a fraudulent transaction. This can be done by AI. Pattern recognition is also done by AI. Example would be a spam filter or using demographic to promote specific products. Image and voice-based recognition used, as all of you are aware, for access control. So if I want to get into data center, for example, I can use image recognition as well as voice recognition to get in. And these are very strong and important controls. Similar kind of method is also used by bankers for logging into the access into their system for customers. There's a very important development which has been done by AI. It can look at images and based on that decide whether this person has got a skin disorder or not. It can also detect cancer. It can also find out problems in eyes. So all this it does just by looking at the image and based on historical database. Forensic analysis also can be done. So if you have set of transaction, you can go to the transaction and identify which are fraudulent, which are misuse of fund, and so on and so forth. Credit scoring has been used for a long time to sanction loans. So it uses set of database of the customer. It uses historical data. It also uses public data. It uses these three combination and is able to score a customer and decide whether to give credit or not. Sorry, the screen is not moving. Okay. This is an important thing to understand as to Again, this will help us in understanding which are the applications that we can use for AI. Should I use, if I have certain problem statement, can I use AI or not? So typically most AI which is being getting used is called narrow AI. So these are all specific tasks, and the AI is able to use and implement and give solution very well when it comes to narrow AI. Example of narrow AI, search engine, for example, driverless vehicles, diagnostic, which I will talk about, chess, Go. So these are all examples of narrow based. They typically use either pattern or they use rule. So either and based on that, they are able to solve human problems. General AI are not yet in place. These are all good to have, but currently general AI are not available to the extent it is required. As you can see, it is supposed to understand abstract concepts like the way human do, be creative. These kind of things is not something that is doable by AI. We can also categorize AI in various types. For example, this is primarily application based, vision based. So image recognition is an example. Voice based, which we already discussed. It can also do voice to text. It can do text to voice. It can do voice recognition. It also does language processing. For example, it can translate. All of us have used IVR to log in into our bank accounts. It can also do content extraction. So it goes to the entire content of any file and can extract based on certain keywords. It can also be used to convert content into visual. So you can convert that into graphics, into graphs, into bar charts, into various things you can use and do a presentation. It also can look at legal documents and say, okay, these are the keywords, and based on which you can say, okay, these are the things which I want to look and say, figure out whether this legal document is okay, is the risk taken care of, and so on and so forth. It can also do prediction in terms of likelihood of fraud. So it looks at the data, looks at the historical base, and decide whether a fraud could happen. There's a particular kind of system called expert system. So it uses knowledge base of various experts in that field, and combination of that as well as AI is able to predict. For example, it can detect type of lung cancer. Now we come to challenges. Okay, these are all very good. So what are the issues? What are the challenges when you're talking about AI? Important thing when you're talking about AI is you require huge data, right? And the data should be clean. So obviously the garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you don't have good data, it's not going to give you an output the way it is required. Now, whenever you set up and plan to do AI in any organization, it's important to get all the stakeholders, especially IT and business, together. They must collaborate together to come with a solution. So it's not IT required. It's not an IT solution that only IT looks at it. IT plus business together has to work together, collaborate for AI to do well. As already mentioned before, we must know what it can do and what it cannot do. So we must know, for example, that it does not have a sensibility of even a child. So it is unable to be a model. So it cannot say, okay, what is right, what's wrong. It just does based on rules, primarily rules and patterns. So that is very important to understand that. There is also an element of bias which can creep into a solution. For example, when a credit scoring is done, it could have bias against certain kind of locations, certain kind of people, certain kind of background, and say, I won't give sanction, even if otherwise the person is suitable for sanctioning you. An important issue with data is that since the data is going to be available in one place, the likelihood of the data getting compromised is very high. So privacy and security, very important part of data management. AI can do repetitive tasks, right? But it cannot learn and improve in certain cases. So it can keep doing the same thing multiple times, but cannot learn from past. So how do you succeed in AI? You look at, okay, what is the solution? What is the problem and what is the solution? So only till you have a right problem, you understand the problem well, that is when you can have a right solution. So it's very important to understand the problem look at the problem, see whether there's something which AI can do, and then take it up. It becomes very expensive that we look at a problem, quickly jump onto the solution, start working on that, and realize after some time that this solution is not doable because AI cannot do the solution. So it's very important right from beginning that I look at the problem, see what are the various things which can be done, cannot be done. Is it something suitable for AI? And then start. As I already mentioned, clean relevant data is important, without which AI cannot do pattern recognition, cannot do prediction, cannot do all that. Relevant data. So what you do is you take the data, you ensure that it is clean the way it is required for the solution, and then use the solution. A key thing, of course, is buy-in state from all stakeholders. So whenever you want to do AI, you have to get all the people concerned, present to them that what AI can do, what are the solutions, give them clarity on expectations, and then they are able to do that. They are able to use it. So if the expectations are not clear, there's very likelihood that the users will be disappointed and they will say AI is useless, or they will say the solution is useless. So it's very important to get all the stakeholders in the system and make sure that they are explained how AI works, what are the things which are possible, what are the things which are not possible, especially, and then work on the solution. So that's where you share the possibilities and what are the limitations. Whenever you want to set up AI, it's very important that you develop expertise in business and technical. So it's not that you need only analytics. It's not that you need only business. You need a team which is able to understand business well, understand technicals very well, work together and come with a solution. But these are some of the prerequisites for success in AI. Okay, now we come to specifically on, okay, any questions so far?
Oh, yes, there is, but we'll take at the end.
Okay.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we come to specifically on audit and accounting. Now I have given some example, and I've given in the previous slide some more examples of what can be done. Now, when these examples are not obviously not comprehensive, they are not the complete. These are some examples by which you can relate to based on your work and based on your background. And then based on what I've given about other applications, you can also look at those kind of applications and check whether you can do the same thing in accounting or audit. So let me give an example, some examples in audit and accounting. I don't know about in other countries, but I'm assuming it will be there. You have the trial balance data, and then you have to come with an output which is to be published. So, for example, in India, you have Schedule 3 by which you publish to stakeholders. Now, that kind of publishing you can use AI to convert the trial balance data into the format. Now, the regulators will say that format needs to get changed once in a while. So it's very simple if you use AI to shift from one format to another. So that's why AI is very useful if you want to convert from one format to another. No doubt you can do traditionally using IT solution, but if you use AI, it can be much easier. The second example which I can give you is that there are a lot of legal contracts which we may want to go through and figure out whether there's any risk for the client, whether it's been done correctly, whether any issues in the legal contracts. So you can use AI. What it will do is either go to the entire content which is provided in the legal. Let us say you have got something like 100 legal contracts. It can go to 100 legal contracts. Using keywords, it will pick up those things. It can pick up the paragraph surrounding those words. It can pick up the paragraph before or after those words and put them together in form of a database. And then you can go to the database and further analyze the way you want. When you use this keyword, you can also use multiple keywords so that you are able to reduce the kind of time that you take when you do it manually. So that's a very useful benefit using AI. Same thing, similar kind of thing you can also do in email. So let us say there's a fraud which has happened, or there's an issue which has happened in case of a set of mails, or there's a whistleblower who's come back and told us that, please go to this and let us know if anything can be done. So in which case what you can do, you can put all these emails in one place and go through them using AI. It can use a spam filter by pulling in data that you require and use it to convert into base kind of data that you require. And then you can analyze that further. Detecting fraud and fund misuse by analysis of bank statement. I'll explain a bit of the process, but typically you have this multiple bank statement with multiple formats for multiple period. So you can put all of them together and then you can use AI to analyze them and go into a bit of detailing in the next slide. So it will help you and help us in detecting fraud using various methods, whether it could be number of cash transactions, whether the money has been transferred from one account to another in a circular fashion. So various kinds of methods that we can use. We can also use for misrepresenting reports, financial reports. We can use it for multiple purposes. Again, now let's say you got a requirement in terms of litigation. So in litigation, what happens is typically you have a requirement from the client for which you look at multiple case laws, you look at multiple laws, use all of them put together, for which you will require a lot of people, maybe multiple assistants who will go search, put it together and give it to a senior who will go through that and go there. Now, what AI can do is it can pull in based on certain logic, it can pull in those various data for case study from case laws, put them in one place, so that you just have to go through that content and decide what you want to do with that. You can do whatever analysis you need. There's another thing which you can also do in terms of your audit, which is that you have a various set of documents. You can go through those documents using AI, and typically if it is a structured document where you say you have this field, your field name and so on and so forth. For example, serial number followed by a number, date followed by a date, name of the customer followed by the name. So if you what's a structured form, it can pull in the data from the structured form, convert that in form of database, and that database can be used for doing the kind of analysis that you want. So that's again something which can be done by using robotics. So it's a robotic process automation by which you can do this kind of activity. Now I come to the some detailing in terms of how some of the process are to be followed. So let's talk about forensic. In forensic, what happens, as I mentioned, you go to multiple bank statements. Now all the statement will not be in the same format from each bank. Each bank may use different format. Not only that, some of them might be using PDF, some of them might be using CSV, some of them might be using some other format. So what AI can do is you can pull in the data, convert that into a standard file. Using that file and using the kind of your requirement, what is it that you want to do with the data? You can convert it in the form of a rule, and based on those rules, it can come with an output of your choice. It processes the data. It first converts the data into a standard format. You can clean up the data because some data may not be available. So you talk to the bank, get further data. Talk to the client, get further data. You put all of them in one place. After you put them in one place, what the system can do is it can go to the entire database, and based on the rules which you want and based on your objective, it can process the data and use the output. So this is one kind of use case which can be done in forensics. Same kind of thing when you're talking about email. So email, as I was giving you an example, if you have an email, multiple set of email, huge number, let's say something like, say 200 GB or some data, it can go through all the files, order them in the way you want, select based on keywords, pick up the paragraph where that select word is there, pick up the one previous and later, or whatever sequence that you want, picks up all those data, puts them in a standard format to a database, and then you can use the database, do analysis, and convey them to the client. So the process is simple. It just uses a standard method. So this also I have briefly mentioned to you. So if you've got multiple documents which you want to use to confirm complaints, you can go through each and every document, read the document. Based on that field name and the field description, it will pick up the relevant data, convert that into a database based on this combination, generate an output. With that output, you can put all of them together in one place and compare them with what you want, whatever you want to do. Let's say you want to look at bill of lading and find out the data and see if the bill of lading is okay. Is it logical? Is the from to whatever is it logical? Is the product which is being used is it logical and so on? So is it in compliance with the regulation of your country. So you can do all that and come to the method. You can use this method to analyze data and come to the method. Okay. So now, having said all this, I go back and look, what is it that I wish to do? What is my objective? Then you'll say, okay, this is my objective. Can AI do this or not? So for us to understand this, I've given some example. What can AI do? It can detect and classify image better than human beings. So if you look at the image of, if you let us say a doctor wants to examine an image and decide whether this person is likely being affected by cancer or this problem with the skin or problem with this retina or any such things which is image based. What the system can do, it can go through the images rapidly and say, okay, this image, based on this image, definitely this person is or likely is affected by the disease which is being talked about. And this it can do better than what a human doctors can do. So it picks up the data, it processes the data, and compares that with its own logic of what would be a disease and what is not a disease, and then it uses pattern, analyzes the data, and comes along. So it can do better than human. It can obviously do repetitive tasks faster, error-free, and with better precision. So not only is it faster, but it is more precise and error-free. So that's the advantage with AI. And now we come to what it cannot do. It cannot be creative. It cannot think on its own. It cannot be empathetic. It cannot be emotional. It cannot say, okay, now in this particular situation, the human being has to be protected. Hence, I cannot do this. So it cannot use human judgment. It can only do what it is programmed to. So that's the disadvantage of AI. So there are lots of applications which are possible in AI. I've given some example for you to reflect on what can be done in our situation. It's completely up to us because the opportunities are huge. Once you understand what it can and cannot do, there's innumerable areas where AI can be used in your respective areas. So if you ask me in that context on kind of application that you're looking at, then we can discuss that with more detail on what can be done. Thank you. Ready for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Srikanth, for your wonderful insight on artificial intelligence. I have a few questions.
Yeah.
First is, with the adoption of AI in the business process and ERP, can you recommend on the future of audit and accountants? Can some audit requirements or compliance and regulatory be configured and performed by AI?
Okay, so I would, if the questioner can give me a bit of an example, so I can answer better.
Like they're asking that, can some audit requirement or compliance be regulated or configured, which can be performed by the AI?
Okay, so the way to answer, the way to implement what has been asked is to see how a human being does. So what does a human being do? Human being says, okay, this is a compliance requirement. This is what is there in the system. Is the system matching the requirement? So as an example, let us say you want to check whether every transaction there's a checker which is involved. Has a transaction been checked or not? Now, this is something which is available in form of log, but you can also ensure that while the system is actually happening, while the processing is actually happening, you can incorporate AI into that, and parallelly it can do a check. So it can check while the thing is happening. So that can be done. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Next is, what specific and practical areas can application of AI support and enhance operations of small and medium-sized business in East African region? Like, can you use AI to automate certain reconciliations?
Yes, yes, you can definitely use AI to automate. So, okay, so I'll go into a bit of detail. So, going back to the example of the bank statement, right? So, in the bank statement, there are multiple columns, which let's say the date, the transaction description, the debit amount, the credit amount, reference number. Now, when you say I want to do reconciliation, you must be using certain content, which could be date, which could be amount, which could be debit or credit, and some reference number. So if you have these combination, the way to do it is you take this data bank's statement, you put them into the system by using the method, which is basically you extract relevant column, you put that into the system. The system will now have a clean information of these columns which you are going to use to do the reconciliation. And then once the data is clean, you can use this to do the reconciliation.
Okay. Is there any data source or a website available to access all these tools?
Yeah, so, okay. So there are tools available for various kinds of solution that you're asking. For example, if you want to use a robotic process automation, so there are some solutions. For example, you can use UiPath. So there's a UiPath where you can use the community edition. The community edition is available free. You don't have to pay for it. You can also buy the commercial edition. Both are available. So that can be used as one such solution is available. If you want to use machine language, which can be used for credit card, it can be used for anomaly detection, stuff like that. Yes, so machine language is also available. Again, it's available with as a free tool which is available. So there are multiple ML tools which is available. So you can use any of those solutions for that.
Okay, thanks for that. What is the threat of AI to the accounting profession?
It's a good question. Whatever is very routine, which is repeatable, and which can be done by a which is something which is automatic and can be done easily by a computer. That is probably the area that will impact accounting. However, accountant skill is not only that. Accountant skill is that plus analytics, plus able to understand and use the data to say, okay, with this data, this is what I can do. This is how. So the inference gathering is a strength it's a huge strength of an accountant. So any accountant does not just look at the data. They look at the data, and based on the data, they do some processing, analysis, and come with intelligent output. That part is not doable by AI at this point of time. AI can do only the basic one. Whatever can be done by a computer is which means it can do repeated activity and save us the time of doing that repeated activity and focus on intelligent activity.
Like similar is the next question, how AI can do some in cash transactions, means those not passed through bank systems.
You will have to explain to me when you say not passed through bank system, because are you talking about ATM transaction?
Although they're saying that the AI is used in accounting and auditing environment, which help us in deducting fraud and funds misuse by analysis of bank statement. But my question is, how can AI help us in some cash transactions which do not pass through bank system?
But they pass through the accounting, the bank statement would have cash transaction, right?
Yes, ideally it should.
Okay, so yes, so AI can do that also. It can identify cash transaction, and you can give for example, you can have a limit, says all transactions beyond certain amount, you can do that. You can also identify based on the reference, whether it's a cash transaction and do analysis. You can filter for those kind of cash transactions and put them in a separate output and use that for analysis. You can also use that to figure out what are the dates on which the transactions have been done, what is the kind of amount which is being used, and use that knowledge to convert into kind of a report, which will help you in figuring out whether something there's some anomaly in the cash transaction. You can also use it for comparing between, let's say, person A to person B, and let's say person C. So the money has gone from one person to another, and from that person to third person. So you can use this combination and say, okay, there is something, some fraud or some misuse which has happened. You can do that, yes.
Okay. Do you recommend any standard checklist for TP transactions from the perspective of Tanzania revenue audit?
When you say TP, you are using third party?
Transfer pricing transaction, it seems so.
Okay, can you repeat?
Or maybe standard checklist for third party transactions. Like they're asking, do you have any standard checklist to go through?
And what is the objective of that?
From the perspective of a income tax revenue authority.
Okay, so I do not have a standard checklist, but using AI, one can, whatever logic that we have to identify this, we can use that and come with an output. Yes, that's possible. I don't have a checklist, but yes, it's doable.
Okay. Considering the increasing unemployment and technological advancement, at what point should an organization take up the implementation of AI, and in which areas of accounting and auditing will it still not downsize its staff?
Okay, it's a very tough question. Good question, but very tough question. So I won't have all the answers, but what I can say is there is a possibility of it impacting employees. So the solution would be, can we teach retrain the employee to do more intelligent work? So there are organizations which have engaged in this kind of activity. So what they do is, before they implement a solution, and this happened in the past, it's nothing new which is happening today. When IT solutions started about some 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years back, at that point of time, there was the same fear that it will lead to loss of employment. So what happened is actually that people got retrained and they went into some other functions which supported IT. The same thing which will happen here. AI will help. When AI happens, we have to retrain and also encourage people to self-learn into an area which will help them to do their work better, into a different area. As I gave an example, you can do reconciliation using AI, but AI cannot give you analysis of that. So you teach people how to do analysis. You teach people how to. So another example would be, you have AI. Now you need somebody to create that AI. You need some business people. You need some technical people. We can use a combination of these kind of people and generate a solution which will help the organization. So they will shift from doing a routine accounting work and act as business consultant to implementation of AI solution. So these are some ways of doing it: retraining, getting into a new area, and this example which I gave. So these are some methods which can be used. Yes.
Okay, thank you. AI works in combination with other technologies like IoT, blockchain, etc. Does it mean an accountant or auditor will now need to understand all technologies in order to give an opinion that the financial statements give true and fair view?
Okay, so as I understand, when an accountant gives an opinion on a fair view of financial reporting, financial statements, he or she is looking at the internal controls which are there in place to ensure that the reporting is fine. So if the reporting involves blockchain, if the reporting involves IoT, yes, or AI, which is a whole all-encompassing area, and because of which the reporting gets impacted or reporting uses these methods, then yes, accountants have to learn those technologies so that they are able to give a better view on the financial statement. Not only that, I'm not just sticking only to this particular area. By accountant learning all this, not only they can have a better view on the financial reporting, it will also help them in giving consulting and support to clients so they can expand their business. So I would strongly recommend that people learn these technologies.
Okay, with the time limit, I'll just take this last question. Who will be liable for the wrong results from the AI? Will it be developer, accountant, auditor, or the client?
Good question. Very good question. Okay, so I will put the question back to the questioner by saying, if there's any problem in IT solution, who's responsible? So the same principle applies here also. So whenever an IT solution is implemented, there are set of people who work together to achieve the IT solution. Same thing happens in AI. AI does not decide on its own. There are areas where AI uses, it's like it learn on its own. And that is one area which is open-ended, where there is no clear legal or any other guideline to say who's responsible. So excluding that area, same principle as an IT solution is applicable.
Thank you, Mr. Shrikant. That was a wonderful insight on AI. I would now hand over to Mr. Kapil.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pranali. Thank you, Shrikant sir, for your very, very insightful presentation, to the point and very articulate manner. Now I request Manish, please, to come and hand over the certificate, please, Manish. Just a second, Manish.
Yeah, I am here.
So can you please do the honors? Sir, can you stop sharing your screen, Shrikant sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, Manish ji. Shrikant sir, as a token of appreciation, we have crafted a very unique certificate of appreciation on the local made Tanzanian wood craft, which will be sent to you in India. In fact, to all the speakers in Tanzania and Kenya, we have already sent and they are showing it. But since you are in India and Manish is traveling next week, he will carry it with you for you. He just want to share it with you and kindly accept that. Manish, if you can show, please.
Thank you very much.
Because of your background, it is not visible. Just remove your background for a moment.
1 second.
I think background is not, maybe light, just if you can just hold on. Let me just check the light.
So because of the background, it is not visible, Manish.
I'm trying to remove my background, guys.
Yeah, remove your virtual background. Yeah. Yeah, it is now. Okay, it is now. We can see now. Sir, please accept a small token of appreciation from 2 chapters.
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
wonderful presentation, and thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shrikant.
Thank you, Shrikant.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Pleasure talking and sharing.
Thank you. And participants, now we have a 10 minutes break from 4 to 4:10. You can do the networking and you can browse the other avenues at the platform. You can go to the booths, you can go to the resource center. We will meet again at 4:10 sharp with the next presenter. So we have an exact 10 minutes break now. Thank you.
Thank you.